interested in. Polygamy is something I feel that is like it's something that is can help certain people in life, and I feel like, if it was done right, it would be a beautiful thing. I still like the polygamy. I still like the community type, what portrays to be community, or having people around that are like minded that you can bond and build with. Well, actually build with, not just sit around and stuff, but like get stuff done, buy land, own businesses, do stuff like that, like build together. I see certain things that are good in um, certain things that they try to express, but I also see the negative part and all that type of stuff. What I was coming on, because I heard you talking about the women over there and the different things that's going through, and I know certain people be like, oh, I would never be in that situation, but now
You
and now you're
can't
saying
say that. Sometimes,
exactly. For me, it's like this type of energy that he's expressing is happening like all around the world. It's not to say it's okay, it's nothing like that.
right, right.
It's not just one thing. It's so many things that is going on in that situation that we would have to evaluate and look at and then figure out how we can make it better.
Thank
But
you for making. Right.
to me, it's like it's so I like to talk about the energy. I don't it's okay, the person is cool, but there's many other people just like him that's doing those things, and there's monogamous relationships that people are getting manipulated and abused in.
True. I
And I
agree.
feel like, we if we want to have real community in the world, we do have to talk about like that type of energy, because it's
True.
right around the corner. And how can we handle that? If a nature boy was in your community, what would you do? How would you handle it? And is there
True.
someone that is doing that in your community right now, and what are you doing about it? So I like to talk about that. um
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. So basically, what you're saying is, how would you avoid being caught up in a situation like that? You
right,
know, and like you said, Nature Boy is not the only one that's doing it. It's being done all over the world. Basically, it is. But the way he's doing it is just very, like, he's publicizing it. He's
mhm,
embarrassing these women publicly. Yeah, it's going on everywhere, Anna, but a lot of people don't put it out there like that.
right, exactly.
But like I said, the thing is this here is horrible. How were you able to break yourself from that cycle? Is it something hard? I just want to know.
Well, I feel like, okay, for me, I just realized. So I was just in a vulnerable stage. A lot of women are in a vulnerable stage. I was in a vulnerable stage in my life, not only with family, but with what I wanted to do. And a lot of things that he was saying was sparking my mind. Now it's just like, okay, it's all contradiction and all this, and that. But it sparked my mind to think deeper in life. And
Right.
that's kind of what I was asking the universe. Like, it feels like it's something more. I was just chasing money all day, every day, smoking weed all day, every day. And it was just like, okay, and it's like, I have a lot of businesses that I was working on, but it wasn't like, okay, if I had all the money I wanted, it wasn't really fulfilling me. So I didn't know about spirituality or anything. So
Yeah.
I coming across people like that, okay, you got a little bit of, I was studying though. I study all the time. Like, I research all the time, all that, but I just never heard no one speaking like that and saying certain things. But we can only see based on like certain things that's within us. So I seen a lot of the good. I didn't really get to like really like see, and my discernment was off. I could say that my
Okay, so I want to ask you this.
uh
So is it safe to say at the particular time that you joined Carbonation, you were a little broken and you were on a spiritual journey and you were trying to get grounded within self?
yeah, definitely. I mean,
Okay.
I wasn't all the way broken. It was just a vulnerable stage. Like, I didn't know, like, I wasn't
Well, vulnerable
there was
is
something.
broke is I would say vulnerable and broken runs like line to line. Basically what I'm saying is you had some things going on
Yeah.
and he was speaking to that,
Mhm.
which is what made you say, okay, let me go ahead on and get this. But when you got there, it was something else.
Right, right.
even though he mixed his knowledge with filth. We're gonna say that. We're gonna say that some of the things he do speak about is very interesting, and it will intrigue you. It will draw you in, but he will turn around and he will mix it with such filth till it becomes like a real nasty situation. Um, and it's sad.
Right, Sharon. I understand that, Sharon. Like, cause I didn't know at that time. I feel like that's a part of my discernment. And then when I hear, like women and older women speaking, I feel like that is a part of the community that we need, even with men and little boys and stuff. Like we need, people in the community that's able to give us that knowledge or that wisdom, to help us with discernment in relationships is how we choose. There's a girl right now that watches him, and I won't even go too deep because I don't know what's gonna happen, if she's gonna go back to her man or whatever. But they watch him and they're doing little things in their environment, and like she had to leave. Well, he was abusing her, and she contacted me after I was making my domestic violence videos, and she was like, okay, this helps me. I just need someone to talk to. So I just told her she might have to just leave and start herself anew, because if he do it once, he'll do it again. And so she was like, I'm just gonna stay. And she stayed for a while, and now she just left recently. So I feel like, just being able to speak those words, empowering words into people, like with Malia, all I could do was just kept telling her. I kept going on there. They block me every time I go in there. I go in there and I say like little things just to make the people think, like not just the people, but the people there. Like I know Malia read my message. I told her she don't have to deal with anyone that puts hands on her and stuff like that. Like she deserves better.
So
She
I want
blocked
to
me or
ask
whatever.
you, has he ever put his hands on you?
No, 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 no.
Have he
We
ever made you do any of these crazy punishments with squatting in corners and in closets and things like that?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, they might choose not to listen, but shoot, soon as if you told them some good advice, like okay, don't do it. They do it once, they'll do it again. Like, and then they actually go through that experience, then they may be able to pull back. I don't know. A lot of women go through like domestic violence, and then they go back to the next person they're with is another person that does that same shit. So we have to, like, I don't know. I just feel like talking about it is important to be able to help people become aware and be able to use their discernment to say like, okay, this man is obviously like calling people bitches and stuff. That's a red. I should have just seen that and be like, okay, because I said at
Well,
a young age,
that's happening every day. You have
right?
men
But it is
disrespecting.
happening.
So I want to ask you this. Do you think majority of the confusion amongst the women there and him is mostly due to dysfunctional, this so-called poly that he got going on, jealousy amongst each other, with him, like him pitting one against another? Do you think that's more so of what it is?
Him putting people against each other.
Pitting the women against each other. Like, how, like, sometimes he'll tell Malaya, well, you got better sex than Velvet. You get what I'm saying? The jealousy amongst them to be this woman for him.
Um, I feel like in their polygamy thing, that it's just polygamy. I don't feel like it's gonna work if the women don't get along authentically.
Right.
Like I
That's
feel
what
like
I'm
if a
saying.
woman has jealousy, she's jealous within herself. I guess she
Right.
can manipulate it and make it to where she got issues with the other girls and this and that, and
That's
make
basically
for
what I
some.
was trying to say. Because, Velvet stresses all the time that she's not really polygamy.
Right, right.
So, do you think that's where all the dysfunction came from, due to some of the girls being forced to be poly without it being willingly?
Or you mean like Velvet being forced to be poly?
Right. Like, basically, what I'm saying is this here. When you are in a poly relationship, it shouldn't be no jealousy of any form amongst the women.
Right.
It should be something naturally that they want to do. But being that Velvet wanted him to herself, which everybody knows that. Do you think that what caused a lot of the dysfunctions and the fights and the
Yeah, no
arguing?
polygamy relationship is really gonna work like that. Like she says she don't want to do it, but in the when I watch, she go back and forth. She's like, I'll do it, I'm gonna do it, and then I don't want to do it, and this and
Right.
that.
So
Like, people
that's
have to become whole within themselves, but jealousy is a natural emotion. I know they try to act like emotions aren't anything, but jealousy is a natural emotion. It's just how you deal with it.
well,
So
I have seen polygamy relationships, and I haven't real ones where it was no jealousy, because I can speak of a guy, can't think of his name, he's here, and he has wives, and they don't do that. They have a very healthy polygamous relationship. His name is what's
right,
his name? He be over here with us with the bean team. Dang, what's his name? Cooler. L Harmony. He's in a polygamous relationship, and they pretty much travel, living in the nature, and
oh yeah.
those women, they don't display that behavior. It's all genuine love. It's no jealousy. So what I was saying is this: it seems like to me these women are being forced to something that they really don't want. So that's when the
No,
jealousy come about, and you get all the fighting, the arguing, you get what I'm saying to you?
I understand what you're saying. I don't know if it's forced. I just feel like when Velvet one is agreed to it, she agreed to it. Then she don't want to do it. Go back and forth. But if you have a hierarchy polygamy, I think polygamy everyone's equal. Everyone has is powerful. Not no hierarchy stuff. I don't even think we need
Thank
a
you,
leader. I
Crown.
think we all should be able to work together. But with there, it's Velvet was the empress. So she's being treated all extra. Like the other people are below. Like it's just
Thank you, Crown. That.
like he
So
said.
I wanna ask you this, Honor. Being that you was there, was you there when Velvet was there?
Yeah.
How did you feel having to salute and stand to another woman that's this
Well,
is
soon after I
taking?
got there, she didn't. We didn't have to do that with her.
Oh,
We just
okay.
had to do that with
Thank you,
Princess.
Gemini.
And
Okay, I just want, because I heard a lot of crazy stuff about the
so
women
they had to.
kissing.
At first, you had to, but
Okay,
they changed it up where you don't have to.
thank you, Jamaican. Okay, I was just concerned, in regards to that.
But I feel like in polygamy, if the woman that is the head woman kind of or the number one or whatever you want to call it, like if she got all her stuff together, no jealousy, and she's able to like handle it, then that would be different. But if you don't got your main woman, like if you're not on the same page, like it's just
Right,
not gonna work. It's just
things would be
dysfunction.
dysfunctional, basically.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I want to ask you a question, and if you could be honest, I just want to ask you this: do you think Velvet was abusive to the women there in some forms to where she shouldn't have been being a chiefess?
I mean, if we look at what we would perceive to be that type of dynamic back in the day, with chiefs and chiefesses, because we can only imagine what it was like. We can read in books or whatever, but like if I would think of a chiefess and a chief, I would just say like you just have to be a leader and everything, and not be like no other women got power too. You don't got to put women down. You can bring women. If you're a leader, you're gonna want to bring other women up to be powerful.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
other people.
that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to get you to, by no means, discredit her, because she was broken too as well. And she was manipulated as well.
Right, right.
Um,
Yeah, so she like certain things I could say yeah, but I always look at that too. I go back and forth. I feel like okay, that could have been different and stuff. Like
mhm.
Fufu, like I talked to her like a couple weeks ago. After I got into it with Nature Boy, I talked to her. I talked inbox everybody and told them like, you know, do better and stuff like that. Even him, I told him do better and stuff. He just said that
You
if
know what
he didn't
really
come back,
you
but.
You know
But
what really bothered me, Anna? Do
um,
you know Syria? What's her name? Syrian?
yeah,
Okay. Do you remember the day that you guys were all on Velvet's panel and she
yeah.
brought all you guys up to speed? You know what I didn't like that happened that day? Syrian was trying to tell some things that happened to her. And Velvet kept shutting her off. She didn't want her to speak her truth of what went on. Um, do you remember what when I'm talking about? It
I
was
remember us being on the panel. I didn't sure because my phone kept messing up that time.
okay. As well, you wasn't able to speak much there. It was like she derailed everything back to the abuse of herself, as if though
Right. That's why
any
she got to heal. Like I appreciate her speaking out because one reason why I went over there is because of her because she kept going back. I thought it was her issue, not his, and I thought everything.
okay, she's speaking out, but she's not speaking out like you women are. She's speaking out, but at the same time, she's not being completely honest with self.
Cause she has
And
to heal. She has to heal like with it's real inner work you gotta do, like to yourself. Not on I mean online is cool, that's one sense of healing, but you really gotta do inner work, especially being in a relationship with him that long. Like you have his energy on you. All that narcissistic shit and all that type of stuff, that's on you.
right.
And you gotta
But
take
you
time to
know,
take
the first steps of healing is being honest, taking accountability for the things that you play part in,
yes,
whether it's publicly or secretly.
yes,
And you know, you can't toy with that. You can't be one way online and then be another way offline, which is why the process is taking so longer. Because if you just be completely honest and straight up with the whole situation, whether it's public or whether it's secret, if you are coming on a public social media and you are choosing to vent these things, then you should go ahead on and just be honest about the whole scenario. That way you can go ahead on and get some closure with it and you can proceed on to healing. So if you're not healed, then I don't think that you should speak on it. Maybe you should work first on self outside of social media and completely heal self inside and out and
mm-hmm.
then speak. You can't raise awareness and you cannot speak to better yourself if you're not being completely honest. Recovery, the first thing to recovery of any form of abuse or anything is honesty with self and others, okay? Um and that's just a policy. And you cannot fake it on one term and then secretly do this. It just don't work like that. You know, I'm sorry. You know, I do have some compassion for some of the things that Velvet went through,
Yeah,
but some things I don't because I still see her kind of making it seem like, you know, you were the only importance of the abuse, the neglect,
yeah,
and everything happened over there when you were like a part of it, you know.
exactly.
So when you dealing with healing, you have to take accountability for everything. Your part, everything. That's the start
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
healing.
Exactly. Like no bad words should really come out about the other woman, especially your position as an empress and stuff. Like you shouldn't be like, "Oh, Malia is this and that." Like Malia is going through shit right now. Like, okay, I know. And in abusive relationships, I don't know, but I just think that like people believe it's their fault. Like from what I seen, like Malia, okay, he gets mad when Malia doesn't speak up about what she's feeling and thinking and stuff. Like Malia shuts down easily. That's a part of Pisces thing. It's like emotions. She's in her emotions. She's introverted. She does things like that's a part of understanding someone. But like that's what I seen. And he get mad when she don't do that and starts to do extra other
But
shit too.
how could she? Because it's like damn if she do or damn if she don't. If
Exactly.
she speak her truth, he's still going to drill her to it's her wrong.
Exactly. And it's just hard for her to express herself sometimes and to articulate herself sometimes. So it's just sometimes though, but some other times it's good. And yeah, like yeah, they have emotions. It's very suppressed. It's a suppressed environment. They suppress a lot of people suppress their emotions and they think that oh I'm a logically think it out and use my thoughts to suppress my emotions. That's what they're doing. But they say your thoughts, your emotions come from your thoughts. But I mean, your thoughts can rationalize what you're feeling, but you need to be in tune with how you're feeling, and that's gonna help guide you in life. So if they was in tune, if they start really love themselves, then they would like move around and not be in that type of environment.
Okay, LCII, you says, Miss Divine, can a woman self heal on what Nature Boy do to them, like Velvet saying she is doing? Exactly. You can, LCII, because I'm gonna tell you, I was in an abusive relationship, and you can, but it's all about being honest with self, and that's the only thing that bothers me with Velvet. She don't stress the parts of her participation in the whole situation. But however, some women are stronger, some women are weaker. It all depends on your mentality and your ability to cope with whatever it is that you've been inflicted with. But however, I want to go ahead on and say this. Velvet is not a weak woman. She's not weak. So when I say she's not weak, she stood up, she hit him. When you hit someone else back that is your abuser, I would say that you only have but so much fear of that person. And seeing some of her retaliations towards him, she has the ability to stand up to him in many ways that the other women didn't there. She's the only one I ever seen stand to him and hit him. So she was a strong person in some aspects. So that's why I say some of the things that went on over there, I can go ahead on and say that she participated in. And she just have to hold herself accountable for that. And until you hold yourself accountable for the things that you have done in that whole particular situation, you're not going to heal because you are missing some important parts. It's okay. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go have sex with another guy. I'm going to get pregnant. I'm going to rid of him. But it's still some deep rooted problems and some issues there that's going to roll out into your new relationship until you fully recover yourself in all honesty of what happened with everything in that whole scenario in carbonation. And that's how I feel about that situation. I myself was in an abusive relationship. However, I had to take myself out of denial. And taking yourself out of denial of being in an abusive, toxic relationship that you allow yourself to go through, denial is a big step of any recovery of abuse, from
Oh, okay.
physical from physical abuse, mental abuse, any form of abuse.
Hmm.
So I was in a very horrible, abusive relationship, Honor. But I had to be honest with self. I had to come out of denial.
Denial of what? Like that you did it? Like you put yourself in that situation?
Exactly. And not only that, I had to come out of denial of some of the things like I would hold myself accountable for that had nothing to do with me. Accepting the abuse,
Right.
accepting the fact that I'm saying, oh, well, maybe I was wrong. I was deserved to get fucked up or slapped around.
Right.
All the things, everything that I played a part in this toxic, abusive relationship, I have to come out of denial of it.
Mm. That's true.
And until I take myself out of denial and be truthful to self and others, I would have never had a successful recovery. So that's why I can speak on an abusive relationship, because I have been in one. And it has not anything to do with no poly or anything. Abuse and neglect doesn't have to be a form of a relationship from poly or a, you know, regular relationship, marriage, or anything. Abuse is abuse.
Right.
And it all starts with self. It all starts with self. And if you do not work with self, you will continue to be in denial. You will continue to be abused. You will continue to be mistreated. You will be continued treated less than what you are worth. So, being that I am a survivor of an abusive relationship, what I see in Velvet is a lot of denial, and she's not being honest with self and others. So, her road of recovery is going to be so long. That's why you see her all the time crying, emotional, worried about who finna go back to carbonation and who's not. She still have attachments and everything.
Mm.
It's a process.
Wow. That's a good message too. I should have recorded that.
No, no, no. I'm being honest with you because I'm telling you, I am a survivor and a victim of abuse. And when you are in the stage of recovery of a abuse and toxic relationship, I have been shot at, I have been hit with guns, I have been, you name it, okay? I am a survivor of an abusive relationship. And until I came out of denial and faced the truths of what I allowed myself to go through, in an overall, I wasn't able to recover. Because it was times where I felt like I was supposed to get beat like that.
Right.
And you're not supposed to have, hold on. I wish this person quit coming in the queue. Listen, we are having a conversation up here. This ain't just for, we don't have time to try to figure out no, no broken English and stuff like that. I'm not being rude. I'm talking to someone right now. So do you kind of get a little understanding of what I'm saying to why some of the women from Carbonation get backlash, some don't,
Yeah.
because it's a, when you're looking at a person's behavior, you can pretty much tell which direction they are heading in.
Right. And it's like that's why I'm like I thank you guys for talking about it. I feel like okay, he says it's a trolls and all these type of stuff, and I feel like like a lot of the times when I talk to people that like have been talking, doing things on the story, I just
Mhm.
learn a lot more stuff. Like the people are beautiful and actually have a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom to be able to share. And even now, like okay, so many people are like um loving what Velvet is doing and stuff, but now you are able to like see another perspective and go deeper on it, and it's actually good advice that she should actually look into.
Right,
Really take that time, and this is what it would actually like help and is the answer to the things. But I guess, and it's all self-reflecting. Like why
yeah,
live, figure out why are you on live,
right,
why are you doing the things you do, like, and just get deeper into yourself and figure out, is it for him, or for clout, or for money, or for like what is it. And
right.
I
And
just
and
so
another thing, you
yeah.
can't raise awareness in a bitter, untruthful state.
Mm,
It's not awareness.
mm,
It's hate for the other person. When I got out of my abusive relationship, however, once I recovered from everything, unfortunately, it happened to be my children's father, my oldest.
Mhm.
I didn't have hate. I didn't have hate. I cannot be upset with my abuser because I allowed these things. I'm in control of me.
Right.
So once I rebuild this and got this together, I don't have to come on here and say, well, my baby daddy, he's this. I don't like him. Anybody come encounter with him, stay away from him.
Ex-
That's not awareness.
That's true. That's crazy.
You have to heal, rebuild, restore self without being in denial, confusement, and hold yourself accountable for the parts that you played as well.
Right. Wow.
And until that happens, you're going to see the emotional velvet. She's not innocent at
Mm.
all. Exactly, Ocean. And I tried to speak with her. Unfortunately, I was unable to. And what drew me to her live was the fact that the girl, what's her name? Syrian,
There, yeah, yeah.
and a few of the other ladies from Carbonation
Mm.
that don't really get to tell their story. She was shut off. I don't listen to Velvet. I don't. I don't entertain any of her lives because what she need to do is she needs to take a break from social media for a minute. I'm not trying to dictate how no one move, how they do their life. I'm just saying she needs to take a break from social media and work on self first before you can speak awareness to any woman of that man. You're not the one to speak to any woman and tell them to beware of him because you played parts. Now, we're going to get off her. We're not going to consume too much time on her. Everybody pretty much sees the outcome of what's going on with the further self destruction that she's creating for self. However, you can't save everyone.
Bree, you silly.
You can't talk to everyone. People have their own ways of doing things. And one thing my mother told me that I will always live by: a person's best lesson is their own lesson. You will not learn shit from anyone else. You will only learn it from your learning experience and your own lesson. And with that being said, we gonna go and change the subject. When it comes to these abusive relationships, we have to detect the signs, ladies, as well as men, because you have men in abusive relationships too. You got to learn how to detect the signs of an abusive relationship because you will get signs very early. That's interesting because my dad always said to learn from other people. That's not true, President. You can't learn anything from someone else that's learning their learning experience. So, whoever told you that, that's not true. I come on this site and I talk a little this and I talk a little that, but a person's best lesson is their own lesson. Your lesson is your own learning experience. You can only learn from self. And that's that on that. Can't nobody force you to be anything that you don't want to be. Can't nobody force you to do anything that you don't want to do. Everything is did willingly on your own willpower. And your own learning lesson is your own best lesson.
even in that instance, President, like you're still learning from that person. Like you're learning by watching that person through yourself.
Exactly. Experience is your best teacher. And when you speak of experience, you're speaking of your own experience, not someone else's. Only you live your journey. Only you live your experience. Only you live your mistakes. Only you correct your mistakes. You can never look at someone and say, "Oh, I'm going to learn to be like that person." No. You're going to learn to be whom you are without and with through the journey of your experience. So a person's best lesson is their own lesson. The only way I can learn my life and my mistakes is from looking back at my experience of my journey to better myself. I can't live someone else's experience. It's impossible. You can't. I'm sorry. And my mistakes are my paths to where I need to be, not someone else's.
Hmm.
I think what they're saying is you can learn what not to do. That's not true.
Okay,
And
well,
I will explain it to you, Trouble, because guess what?
hold
We
on.
all
Hey, troublesome. Why is that not true? Like you can see someone else doing something and then
that's their journey. That's their experience. We might go try it and we might not get the same results.
yeah, but okay, if somebody drop off a bridge or something like that, some like you'll see them like they're going down the wrong.
Now,
They did the
no,
wrong
no,
thing.
no. See, we're not speaking about nothing like that. We talking about life experiences.
Are you saying like I shouldn't join carbonation? Like,
We're not speak.
well, yeah, like okay, if everybody's talking about the things that's going on over there, and it's like, do we like some people listen to that and be like, oh, I wouldn't put myself in that situation because of that, and other people like bypass,
Yeah,
what's
it will still be your experience. I mean, if that experience is for you, then it's yours. If it's not, then it's not for you. But I learned from my experience. Don't you learn from your experience, Honor?
yes, as much as I can. I want to learn more,
Okay.
better. Like,
Right. I learned from my experience. I
mm,
know if I took my ass over there and touched that damn fire, I'm going to burn myself. So I know next time I'm not doing that shit. Now somebody else might go over there and do it and get some different results. I ain't living by their experience. I'm living by my own. Because last time I lived by someone else's experience, you know what happened?
mm.
I was abused. I was tortured. I wasn't treated fairly. Yeah. I'm not living out anyone else's experience. I'm not putting anyone before me. That's your experience. You live it. You live to abuse women. You live to mistreat women. I'm not living out your experience no more. I'm living out mine because I know how I want to be treated. I know how I want to live. So I'm going to live my experience. So I would never say I will learn by someone else's experience. I'm sorry. I'm going to learn from my own. Well, hey, we can argue the whole topic, but I'm just explaining to you how I would do it. Oh no, you can't come on the camera like that, Misha. Hold on, y'all.
I'm
You
sorry.
you gotta calm down, please. It's okay. Just hit the three lines and calm down, please. Do
You
you
know
you
what?
you see the three lines with the red dot on the top?
Yes, I,
Okay. It's on the top. Let me catch up in the lobby what they saying. Were you reading them, Honor?
Yeah.
Right.
Um.
No, no, no. I'm
So,
not arguing with you by any means, President, at all. It's okay. We can share, different experiences with each other. It's okay. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying I'm not living out anyone else's experience because it didn't work well for me.
I understand that. So, okay, so
So
with
let me
situation,
let President up so he can kind of explain to me. You no, we're not arguing, President, at all. It's some things that you can say to me that could probably uplift me and educate me on some things, as well as I can tell you my point of view. So no,
Yeah.
it's not never an argument, dear. Don't get it wrong. But you can go ahead and explain to me what you were trying to say.
All I was gonna say was that it's not so much about living out somebody else's experience, more so learning from them, because some people are similar to us and some people are very different. I mean, everybody's different in some kind of way, and we also share similarities. Is what I'm trying to say. And so, in that, you have to pick out the parts of somebody else's experience that are similar to yours that you can see, obviously, because you might not always be able to see those similarities, but if you can see those similarities and use what they did, because I related to sports. People who play sports, we watch people who have done it before us. We watch the way that they moved. We watch what they're doing on the court, what they're doing off the court, their mindset, how they think, all that kind of stuff to better our game and to take elements of what they did. It doesn't mean we just trying to copy them move for move, but it means we take certain things that they did and try to implement them into our lives. And I think we could do the same with anybody's experience. Honestly, I try and find something from anybody I talk to, and if I get to know them or know what they are about or whatever, and try and take points from their life and say, okay, what did they do in this situation, or how did this work out that can better, my life somehow. So that's all I'm meaning is that, we can
Right.
learn from other people's experience, whether that's learning what to do or learning what not to do.
You know what I think we're doing, President? I think we are saying the same thing but in a different way.
Okay.
Okay? I think we are saying the same thing. In a, the same thing but in a different perspective.
Hmm.
However, whatever experience that I explore from anyone else is still my experience, where I master it or felt it. So still I would say a person's best lesson is their own lesson. Because if
Yeah.
I don't experience it, then it's not my experiment and it's not my lesson. So we basically saying the same thing in a sense.
Yeah. I feel you. I think I get what you mean. Hmm.
Yeah, we basically saying the same thing in a sense, but is I don't understand where some people just go wrong and they get completely embedded in such toxic stuff till they can't pull themselves out of it. Like, um, at some point it should be a reality check or common sense should sink in. I don't know. But I'll
In
let
terms of what you mean, you
like
said
some
comments.
of the experiences that we do put ourselves through. Some of them can be very drastic, tragic, and we would just be stuck in it for a while. Why is that?
I think a lot of that is because, and I was just saying this to my sister too, is that a lot of times, because I've been talking to her about, the law of attraction and the power of manifestation a lot lately. And she was saying, like, how do you control other people, not other people, but other things outside of yourself, external forces or factors that can come in and affect your life? Because she's like, I didn't attract these things, these negative, events that have happened to me or traumatic things that have happened. She's like, you saying that I attracted those things? And I'm like, no, you might not attract that event or that thing happening to you, but everything that happens to us in life has both positive and negative elements to it. Everything. Because anything that's negative can be used in a positive way. And so what you are emitting, whether that's a negative or a positive energy, is attracting so if you're emitting positivity, it's only going to attract the positive elements of things that happen to you. If you're emitting negative energy, then it's only going to attract the negative elements of the things that happen to you. So when something bad happens to you, you have to make a choice in that moment of whether I'm going to um, hold on to the negative parts of this thing that happened to me, or if I'm going to hold on to the positive parts. And if you hold on to the negative parts, then more negativity is going to keep coming towards you, and so on until you
So
switch
would you
what you're
say
emitting.
that's a form of self denial, not seeing but just constantly engaging?
I wouldn't so much say denial, but maybe being overwhelmed because depending on what it is that happens to you, if a family member dies or something like that, and it's really traumatic for you, you might have really loved that person, and so you might be focused on, oh, I just lost somebody I loved, and how, and that's awful and that's bad and I miss them and all of these things. Or you can say, I just lost somebody I love, and the fact that I feel so bad is just evidence of how much I love them. So I'm going to
Right.
relish in how much I love that person. Because I'm saying, no matter what it is, you can. It's a positive and a negative.
True.
And you just got to focus on the
True.
positive to then continue to make that a habit, and then that keeps attracting more positive things. And then when stuff happens to you, you almost feel untouchable because you're like, I'm emitting this positive vibration, and it's coming out with myself outward. So nothing that's coming in can touch
Yeah,
me. It
that's
can't
what
get
I
through
had to
that.
do. I had to do that in my process of healing. I had
Hmm.
to stay positive.
Yeah, it's
I would
important.
have some spells where the negativity would kick in, and it would be a rough day, you know.
Hmm.
But as
I
long
bet.
as I stayed positive, I was able to recover and redeem myself and heal myself.
Let me ask you this: do you feel like in those moments you chose to do physical things that switched your thinking into positive stuff, or was it more like mental stuff, like more
Mental,
like?
physical, it was mental and physical. I had to change my thinking,
Hmm.
and I had to change up my routines, my daily routines of the things that I was doing.
Hmm.
And when I say that is this, when I was in the negative state part of it, I would see that I didn't do much, just sitting around, pondering with the negative thoughts of the situation, and that just kept me buried down. So what I
Hmm.
did was I started doing more positive things, more positive thinking, more positive reading, giving myself a different outlook, mental and physically,
Hmm.
to recover myself. So, yes, that's what I did. I had to change both my physical and my mental.
Okay. I was only asking because, like, with my sister, I find that her issue is kind of staying too in her mind about it, and it's like she'll read things and she'll write down stuff and she'll watch podcasts or listen to podcasts or listen to
Mhm.
YouTube videos with affirmations and all of this stuff. But her, like, day to day in terms of what she's actually physically doing in terms of what time she wakes up, or like the physical actions that she takes throughout the day are pretty similar. And I think the physical affects your, your mental. If you just, if it's still in, if it's all just in your head and you're not
It
pretending to
does.
be, because you almost have to fake it till you make it, as my mom said. Like
Right.
you
Your
gotta pretend that
mental,
you're healthy so that you do the things that a healthy person would do, and then that then
right.
changes your mental.
True. Your mental stimulates your physical. So
Hmm.
if the mental is not together, it's going to be a similarity, like you said.
Hmm.
So until you heal the mental, you're not going to see much of a recovery in the physical. And the mental is very serious. I'm gonna tell you that. That's something
Yeah.
that has to be rehab first, and then you can see the outcome on the physical. If I wake up and I'm doing my mental negatively, my physical going to be negative.
Yeah.
But if I wake up with this positive, okay, I'm not doing this today. This is that. My physical going to be positive too because they work hand in hand. However,
I almost see it like the whole, chicken and the egg thing, like which came first. Because like I think about it, like depending on, so in the morning when you first wake up, your first thought of the day, whether that's a positive or a negative thought or whatever, can be affected by how much sleep you got, which could be
true.
affected by whether you was watching TV late at night or whether you was doing something like that or whether you was drinking or smoking or whatever. All of these physical things that you might have done would affect the way you slept. But then doing
That's
those physical
right.
things would have been affected by your mentality during the nighttime, which would have been affected by what you've been doing all day, which would be affected by, so it's like I don't know
I
where
agree.
it first starts, but I think like it's almost like I feel like the mental, physical, and spiritual are like the three pillars of our
Right.
lives. And if any of them are damaged, they, you gotta, I don't know if any of them is more important than the other, but you gotta repair them all kind of to build up, to build
I
yourself up
think the
or fix that
mental
foundation.
is I think the mental is important.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's also depends on how you putting yourself down at night too. You have to be careful with that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if you go to sleep on a negative note, you're waking up the same way. So
Yeah.
that's why you empty your bag before you lay down and rest. So you can go
Mm-hmm.
to sleep in a positive state and you can wake up in a positive state.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of people don't understand that. They overlook those things. And it's very important the way that you put yourself down at night and the way
Mm-hmm.
you carry your mental, because your mental is very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your physical gonna always react your mental.
Mm-hmm. They say that your thoughts affect your feelings, or influence your feelings, and then your feelings are feedback telling you what you're thinking. So if whatever you're feeling is something negative or whatever, then you must be having negative thoughts. And if what you're feeling is something positive, then you must have been having positive thoughts. So you definitely have to
Exactly.
understand the way that you feel, so that okay, I was clearly not thinking the right kind of thoughts, whatever. But also
Yeah.
don't let your thoughts stay in your head either. Like, well, not don't let your
Yeah,
thoughts stay in
you
your head,
have
but
to
you
self
have to speak
clean.
words. Yeah,
You
I
have
feel like
to
you have
self
to.
clean. You can't just you can't compile a lot into your mental. You have to filter that stuff out as it come about. That's why when you get problems, you're supposed to deal with them right there on hand.
Yeah.
That's emptying your mental. You can't congest it. You can't. And when you congest in your mental and you're not filtering it daily as things coming about, you're congesting it.
hmm Somebody in the comments says speak positivity into your life. That's what another thing I was just saying to my sister is that words have power, and if the words that
Yeah,
you're
it
saying
does.
are
I
negative,
agree.
then they're gonna solidify that. Like if you always talking about how you don't feel well, or how you
You're
feel
going to sit
tired,
around and look like you're not
or
well.
exactly, and it's like you gotta almost lie to yourself. It's not even lying, but you prophesying, you speaking something into existence.
You're motivating your
Yeah.
mental to activate your physical.
hmm
And if you don't, then you're going to deal with whatever that mental got going on.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
I'm a
things
big
are gonna
believer
come
in
your
not.
way. Like stuff comes your way. Like you can be thinking all positive as you want, and something can come your way. The thing is how you deal with it. It's just how you react to things. Like knowing.
Yeah.
Right. I
That's
agree.
true. Peace to the panel. Peace,
Hey,
peace, peace, guys.
I
You
just
got
popped up.
Nicole.
Good
Nicole,
I'm
don't
morning.
come.
sorry.
Nicole,
Grand
don't come up here.
submissions to
Cut
Nicole.
me
No,
off.
no, no,
You tried it. No, I'm just like,
no.
I'm
I
just
was
playing.
just
I'm just
coming up
playing.
here just to show something. Look, no, I was just coming to show something. Okay, so I was talking about how I speak positivity into my day every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at my desk, this is what I have on my desk, and these are all daily positive
Yeah.
affirmations.
Right.
And I have this at my desk as I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
And so throughout the day, when I'm having issues, I sit and I read these. And
Okay.
it's like, today is a perfect day to be happy.
Yeah.
Just different little affirmations that I wrote to
Right.
myself so that I see positivity. Even, I mean, just all over my desk, I put that kind of stuff.
That is so
Just so
creative, Nicole.
And I,
that's so
Creative.
I know that my day, no matter what, I'm seeing this all day. And that's what I'm
Right.
speaking into my life every day. Because
Okay.
what you speak is what comes out.
That's
So that's what
right.
I was meaning by daily
I
affirmation,
agree.
daily positive affirmation.
I
Even
agree.
at work, you be tired and you be like, oh my goodness, I don't want to do this. I'm
Hold on.
whatever. But then I look here and I'm like, okay, I'm free
yeah.
from worry. I'm resilient. I can get through anything. So
Right.
it's just, yeah, I think that's very important to do because whatever you speak into your life is what's going to come out in your life. So,
Right.
yeah.
And
I
to get
agree.
back off of what she said, another good thing I tell my clients to do all the time is to you cannot pull the reason why we have so many problems and we let people control our emotions because when you wake up in the morning the first thing we have a habit of doing is grabbing our phone and logging on to social media. You have to take time in the morning to sit still and figure out who
That's
you are
true.
as a person. You got to tap into your own emotions and your own feelings. That way you are solid on who you are and no one can sway you. Also, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So you
True.
have to do a lot of self-help, self-care, self-love, because if you have an empty cup and you go out in the world, anybody, it's like being hungry. You know, you get agitated real quick when
Anybody
you're
will fill
hungry. So you have to have a full cup. If your cup is not full with positive energy, you cannot pour into nobody else. You can only receive nothing
it.
but negative energy. But if you do a lot of self-care, self-love, which is drawing, writing, having a journal is one of your best friends. You have to
Yes.
sit back and write down your thoughts. You have to find somewhere to transfer that energy. Whatever it
Yes.
is that you want to tap into doing, you thinking about, oh, I want to play the piano. Go invest in a piano. You invest in everything else. Invest in little things and teach yourself how to play. You have to have somewhere to place all of this negative energy. So
Yes.
you have to make sure when you wake up in the morning, sit still. It's hard for some people to sit still, but you practice it and it get easier every day. Start off with just sitting still for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
have
care
to
if you're in the
filter it.
shower, right? If you're in the shower, ladies, gentlemen, stand in the shower and breathe and just know that all your negative energy is going down that drain. Look at that,
Yes.
listen to that water, look at that drain and let all that negative energy go. And when you step out, you determine how your day gonna go. You know you're not gonna let no one ruin your energy today.
That's
And that's
right.
how you move. You don't
Daily
let
filter.
nobody, right. So then that way when you do log onto social media, you're not coming in without knowing who you are first. If you know that nothing you see or nothing nobody say to you is going to sway you, then you're going to have a better outcome for that day. And
Right.
always fill your cup. I don't care if it's going to get a pedicure. I don't care if it's going jogging, running. Make sure your cup is always full. That way I can't walk up to President, Honor, Nicole, Miss Nikki, and pour anything into a cup that they don't want because they already have a full cup.
That's
They
right.
already have a full cup, so I can't do that. You can't allow people to control your emotions. In the world we living in, we are suffering from anxiety and depression, and misery loves company.
True.
So we move around. We would rather go where it's negative at because that's how we feel deep down inside. We're depressed. It's
Yeah.
real, and I think this topic needs to be discussed. President, I am following you. Honor
Thank
you,
you.
honor
Appreciate
you
you.
know I fool with
I'll
you,
follow
boo.
all y'all.
But I think it needs to be discussed again about depression and anxiety in the black community because it
Yeah.
is really, you know,
There
it's
is
real
nothing
serious.
wrong with therapy.
Right,
It sure isn't.
right.
There's nothing wrong with therapy.
Because I tell you what,
It's the
if
best
you
thing I
don't
ever
do
did.
it, you will get some nasty results. Depression is,
Hmm.
and I'm going to tell you, if you do not filter and cleanse your mind, you will be a total wreck.
Yep.
Filter it. I do mine every night.
And if you wake up, for the ones that don't quite know how to do it, if you wake up in the morning, just start off with 5 minutes of your day. When you first wake up, sit still and just only speak. It's just like losing weight. I want to lose weight at one time. And I'm like, oh, my stomach getting big. I'm sick of my stomach, sick of my stomach. Your body is listening to that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So when I changed my mind frame and my perception of my own body in my weight loss journey, I looked around. I'm like, you know what? Hey, dance with yourself. I make waist beads. I started wearing certain kind of waist beads to give me certain kind of energy, and your whole perception change, and you naturally start forming into the body that you say you want healthy because you're now speaking and moving in a positive way with your body.
Right.
We beat ourselves up more than anybody. I promise you.
I was gonna
We,
say just
yeah,
to go
we
off of
are,
what I think it
we
was
are our
number
worst
three.
enemy.
Yes, submissive.
Submissive. I think it was something you was saying earlier about not letting anybody affect your energy, or you were saying when you go out. I think that that's really important, but I feel like what a lot of people do is that they still set themselves with like a limit. Even before they
Right.
go out, they have this limit. They're like, you know what? If somebody accidentally bump into me, I'm not gonna say nothing. If somebody talks to me sideways at work, I'm not gonna say nothing. But if somebody does this or this or this, nah, then I'm ready. Like now, it's not. It's too. That's too much, and that's where because the world don't care. The world gonna keep trying you until they
Yes.
find the point where you're gonna break. So you have to eliminate that point, and you really got to think like, how far can somebody push you and you still respond with positivity, because all they trying to do is steal your joy. They pretty much trying to bang on the door of your castle, trying to raid your joy. And
Bring you
if they
more
got something strong
problems.
enough, they gonna get through. So you really gotta like know that no matter what, whether it's somebody racist, I'm saying something to you, or somebody's being disrespectful
Mm-hmm.
or sexist, or anything, you got it. Because at the end of the day, any negative reaction you give to them is what they want. No matter how hard they trying
Exactly.
to push your buttons, that's what they want from you.
You you
Right.
feeding that
Because
demon. You're right.
misery
You
does
feeding
indeed love company.
and you feeding that demon. And what I realize is that, President, you're right, because I did at first when I started on this journey. I had I'm like, okay, but I'm gonna cuss her ass out. She try this. I'm gonna cuss his ass out.
Hmm.
We try this. But I had to realize, and my husband made me help. He helped me with that too. I
Hmm.
had to get in my mind that if it ain't worth my all out effort, and what I mean by that is, if this is not something that I know that I would lay down and die for, or go to jail for, lay down for, not worth it. I started waking up with that mindset as well. So when I
Hmm.
wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, if somebody called me, how does that affect me? Does it,
Hmm.
the moment, if a white
Right.
person called me a nigga, do I drop dead? No.
Hmm.
Do I lose my house? No. Do I lose who I am? No.
No.
So I had to realize that I'm not gonna feed that demon, because the more you, and we
Hmm.
all get caught up in situations where we still do it, but I know
Yeah.
that, okay, if I walk out in this world and if a white man come and slap my daughter down to the ground, okay, now this is worth my all out effort. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I don't
Right.
Yeah, of course.
mind laying down for this cause here. So I
Mm.
have that people call you out your name. It's none of your business what people feel about you.
It's
It's
Hmm.
right.
all those things meant nothing to me. So, hey, wait a minute, this ain't all out effort list. Okay, what's on your all out effort list? Somebody actually try to physically harm you, or somebody trying to harm my husband. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Right.
Out of those things, it's not worth my all out effort. I want to go, I want to leave my home safe, and I want to return the same way. And I want to do that, show
Hmm.
the courtesy to others as well. So I just had to, by attitude a couple of years ago, I practice so much peace. I do so much stuff to be peaceful, because my attitude was so raw,
Yeah, because a lot of people
so
deal with
fucking raw. Like
depression.
you said,
Hmm.
A lot of
and yeah,
people
and you
deal
don't even
with depression and
know
don't
you,
know it.
or you can suppress. It wasn't until I started going to healing and I realized I was fighting with my spiritual healer. I'm like, what you mean? No, girl, no, you can't tell me that. I know me, this, that. But when I tapped in, it made me want to be a life coach and a spiritual healer. After I was able to be taught. And I'm looking
Right.
like, wow, you mean to tell me I had all this suppressed? It's so much anger from childhood that we push aside and we grow up and we hold on to that inner child.
Yeah, you
That
have to
goes from
filter.
relationship with our parents. We don't, oh, me and my mom don't get along. Believe it or not, you can say to yourself, I don't, that's just how my mom is. I don't care. But people have to understand, your mom didn't know any better. So there's a
Hmm.
sickness that she had a person. So you fix yourself to go back
Right.
and save you. You have to fix yourself so you can reach back. Now some people, mamas or daddies, I understand you would never you can never do anything. You have to know when to walk away. But sometimes we have to show mercy to others, because you don't know what they didn't know to act the way they act now. Once you find
Right.
who you are and do self healing and work on yourself, you now know better. And it's oddly enough, but the child becomes the adult in the situation, because you're the only one that has knowledge
So
to know
true.
better. That's when
So
you
true.
reach back to your parents and you go try to mend that relationship, and you go sit
Mm-hmm.
down and have a conversation with your mom or your dad, and then now you can understand, because you
Right.
are the adult in the situation now, where they
Right.
coming from, because maybe your mama didn't love her right, or your mama didn't love her right. So
It's
Mm-hmm.
generational.
right.
Yep.
Generational.
And it's just like with religion and everything. If you ask anybody, hey, why do you believe in God? Why do you believe in religion? Oh, because my mama
It's,
made me
yeah.
Because my mama
go to
taught me
church.
that. My grandma
Nobody
told me
stopped.
that.
Right. Nobody stopped to do their own research.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody stopped. It, it's so easy for me to get up here and, and get pissed off at present. Oh, I can't believe you. Oh, you did out thinking. It's a young black man. Just pull it back. I want to know what made you submit. You having a bad day or what? Because just like man have it going on, the black woman have a lot going on. It is really a miscommunication in the black community between the
Yes.
black man and the black woman to where they
Mm-hmm.
want
Yes.
us to go, oh, my baby daddy, my baby mama, my this is it, go at each other when really we just need to sit down and communicate better. And that
Yes.
goes for black men, black women, women talking to women, men talking to men. We have to have a conversation to make sense, and I promise you, we can understand so much. We can understand each other so much better when we're talking like this instead of "fuck you, bitch." What you mean? I can't believe this hoe said this to me. That you know,
Yeah.
Yep.
it
Yep.
doesn't. That right
And
there,
that's
it
when
gets you
all the
nowhere.
negativity activates. That's when you
Right,
have
But if you
all
realize
that
people
full
stop
cup.
listening when you start yelling.
Yeah.
Everybody
Hmm.
goes into defense mode when somebody starts yelling at them. So they're not hearing what you're saying
because
anyway.
you
Right.
instantly get offended. It's just like your child. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn when I grew up. I grew up to
Hey,
like
I didn't want to cut you off, but
you
I
want
gotta go,
the
y'all.
business.
I gotta go help
Okay,
my sister move a
Okay.
couch.
Thank
okay.
you. Thank
Okay.
But it
you,
was
Brother
nice
Jeff,
talking to
for
Thank
y'all.
you.
stopping
All right,
by.
nice
Nice
talking to you
talking to
too.
you.
No problem.
I followed you.
Yeah, I think I followed everybody back.
Hmm.
Hold on, let me make sure.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Peace,
Hmm.
brother.
All
Thank you
right,
for
I got
kicking it
y'all.
with us.
Have a good one.
All right, you
You
too.
too.
Okay. Now, what was you saying?
I was saying how he made me forget what I was saying. He was really nice. I like this panel
He
right here,
was
Miss
nice. He's
Nikki.
very intelligent. Mm-hmm.
Miss Nikki, I
This
love
was a
this
good
panel
deal
right
today.
Well,
here,
you know, this
Miss
how I
Nikki.
used to have my panels, submissive. This how I used to do my panels. We would talk about nothing but uplifting knowledge, and I don't know where it went wrong, but
But you
however,
know
I'm
what, Miss
trying to
Nikki?
correct it.
I want the
Good.
whole panel. I really
Good.
want to. This is what I want to get. And anybody that's down for this, I want to get two black men and two black women, and I want us to break down the miscommunication between the black woman and the black man. I
Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
can arrange
really,
that.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I really want to do that because, and I want a panel. I want intelligent people in the audience. I don't want no drama. Let's get outside of the beef and drama for a day, and let's
Right.
really
Right,
sit back and have this conversation. So, because we speak different languages, and it get mixed up
right.
when we speak different languages, we get mad. And I just want to have panels like that talking positive about black women,
Mm-hmm.
black men, and wait a minute, hold on, is this my daughter? Damn, I'm at the cop. Hold on.
Oh, she was colored.
Yeah, and you know, this is what I used to do,
Yeah.
Nicole. We used to
Yeah.
hold panels like this. Try to keep things positive. I would do it every morning. And that's
Mm-hmm.
something that I think I'm going to resort back to because all this back and forth, arguing and bickering and
It's
tearing one
not
another
healthy.
down, it's
It's not
really
healthy.
just too much.
It is. I realized
Like Submissive said, we need
the
to
other
learn how
day.
to understand one
Mm-hmm.
another more. Oh, I'm sorry, Brenda. Try it again. Brenda,
Yeah.
sorry.
I realized the other on Saturday after all of that, my head was hurting me so bad,
Yeah, you see
and
how
I
much
said,
she
I
had
said
took.
to myself, was that even worth it? Did you really gain anything from that?
Right. Good morning.
Now the
Hey, Miss
roasted part,
MJ.
that was worth it. Good morning, Miss Brenda.
Yeah,
That was
because see,
worth it.
sometimes you
But
get
the other
fed up.
stuff before all of that, yeah, you just
Mhm.
have to let it out. And now that
Right,
I've let it out, I'm over it. I'm done.
Right.
right.
I've let
Sometimes
it go.
you have to
And
show
it took
people
a long time for me
who
to
you
get
are.
there.
Hmm.
I ain't been like this all
But
my
see,
life.
you
Because
know
it
what,
used to be,
Nicole?
I
What you
would
gotta
hold a grudge.
understand, what you gotta
Hmm.
understand, that's her problem. When you
Exactly.
react on it, it becomes your problem.
Exactly.
But you know what?
Exactly.
It's not good to hold a grudge. I'm gonna tell you why I stopped holding
Mm-mm.
grudges. Because
Mm-mm. It's not
holding a
worth
grudge,
it.
it's like you know how you go to work, right? And
Hmm.
you go to work, and when you go to work, it's this one coworker that you do not like at the job. Okay, so you put in your mind every day, you have to remind yourself, I do not see this motherfucker, I don't care, I don't give a damn. And it's awkward. You move around
Mm-hmm.
accordingly because it's awkward. You don't let nobody create your path like that. You move how you want to move
Yep.
on this planet. So what you
Right.
do is
Yep.
be so sure in yourself, you have to learn to forgive people in your head That
Mhm.
way, you can go ahead on about your life. So when you do go into your office space and see this coworker that you dislike, you really literally don't feel no kind of way about them because you
No
starting at
kind of
a
way.
point of where you're comfortable with yourself. You don't. This
Right.
person does not determine how. Or when I pull up, oh, she's some part beside me. Oh, here they come walking beside me. You create your. You walk down the hallway past this person like you own the building. You know what I'm saying? You
Exactly.
create your own path. You never move around uncomfortable around nobody. You have to always create your
Nobody.
own path for yourself. Can't let nobody
Mhm.
make you uncomfortable in no space that you're in. You might well be dead if somebody can control your emotions and control how you move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Might
just
as
can't,
well.
I just can't live like that. So I just get to the point to where even in the midst of me having a problem with somebody, once I say how I feel about it, I still show mercy enough to give this person a chance. Hey, what are you thinking? Because it could be just be some things can be a miscommunication. Some things can just be downright messy shit that you cannot make the other person see where you're coming from. And those are the
Mhm.
relationship, including family, friends. We have to learn when it's time to walk away from even your children. When if you grown and got adult children,
True.
you have to know when to
True.
walk away before, not for them, but for yourself. You come
Mhm.
before your children. If you're not right, you can't even sit there and put no life
You
into your
can't do
child. If
nothing
you
for them.
messed up, you come
You
before
can't do nothing for them.
anybody on this planet. You are first. You got to put yourself first in everything you do. So I hear
Yep.
a lot of people saying, "Oh, my kids come before me." No, your kids don't, baby.
No, they
If
don't.
if the head ain't right, the body gonna crumble. You have to, mommy, have to be, especially single mothers. You have to make that
Girl.
time. That does not make you a good mama or a bad mama if you always have your children up under you all the time. You have to make time for self and know who you are as a woman first, then a mama second. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You have to know who you are, and then that way you can speak life into your kids. But if you always around your kids all the time, or you love hollering, my kids come first, my kids, I do anything for my kids, no, do anything for yourself, and then that's gonna trickle back down to your kids. Your kids gonna feel
Make
that
sure that
energy
you
and
right.
know,
Make sure
yes,